Good evening, class. Can someone confirm if you can hear me?
Good evening, sir. We can hear you. Welcome.
Can you confirm if you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir. You can go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, students, and welcome to yet another moment of inspiration with the Electoral College. Today, we are dealing with an interesting topic, the one that is dear to all of us, the judiciary and its impact on governance. That's our topic for today. And as our tradition, as you join the class, ensure that your attendance is registered by dropping them in the chat box, your full name and the party that you belong. That's how your name should appear in the chat box. Excuse me. So, my name is Soyore Justin. I am your moderator for today. And I want to go straight because this class is scheduled for 5 p.m. And our moderator, our facilitator is already in class. I want to go straight to read her profile so that we can start in earnest. Thank you all. Sheyi Bella, PhD candidate on the intersection of law, governance and technology, an international corporate technology legal expert who holds an LLB and LLM from the University of Buckingham and an MSc in artificial intelligence and technology law from the University of Law. She is a certified information privacy professional and AI governance professional and innovative and strategic business analyst from Harvard Business School with over 10 years of hands-on experience in legal and governance field, specializing in navigating the complex landscape of global data protection laws, privacy regulations, compliance, and technology-related legal challenges. Equipped with robust corporate communication and crisis management skills, evidenced by her work with the University of Buckingham media presence and consultancy role with the African Union. Sheyi has a passion for human development and social impact. She currently sits on the board of Electoral College and the Deputy Director for Southwest. Ladies and gentlemen, join me as I welcome our facilitator for today's class on the judiciary and its impact on governance.
Thank you very much, Justin. Thank you very much, Justin, for that brief intro. Now, as tradition with the Electoral College, I must say that before any board member has a chance to speak, I always try to make a proper introduction. So I'll tell you about Shay a little bit. Part of Shay, most people do not
sorry,
know.
Sir, we lost you. We lost your last speech before this one, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, we lost you somehow. You went off, yes.
I said, as is tradition, before any board member speaks, I normally put in a conversation and, try to give context to why the board member is a board member or why we have the person in position or who the person is to the college. I hope you can hear me clearly. Can you hear me clearly?
Clearly, sir.
Okay, so I'll tell a story that I don't think I've told any cohort. When I was thinking of beginning the electoral college, someone called, and it was my friend Mohammed and Mom went to school together, and Mohammed said, "Kunilawal, I want you to meet someone. She loves this country. She's passionate about this country." And it was the first time I spoke with her. I hadn't met her. I was spoke on the phone. I'll be honest. Okay, I think she is not in the class, so I'll tell the story properly. I hope she doesn't catch me while I'm telling the story. She was so pissed with the way things were. It was the first time I ever heard she, and last time I ever heard she sound like an activist. I told Shay that what needed to be done had to be work, and the concept came from us, who were citizens, and where we're supposed to channel Nigeria to. I said it clearly over the conversation after she had complained over multiple things. She is one of those that chose to come back to Nigeria. She could have remained outside, but chose back to come back and fix the country. I respect her fully for that. And we had long conversation. That was when we're still trying to burst the electoral college towards sometime in 2019. We had registered the college, we knew what we wanted to do, but we're still thinking about it. So over the course of time, she developed, of course, joined the first cohort, she was part of it. And she developed quite strong affiliation to the college. She has been immense in almost everything the college has achieved in its 5 years. She not only remains one of the closest college confidants and, of course, visionaries. I think I would not want to form favoritism here, but I think if I pick all the people that, I've had the course to interact with in college, I think she is most me. And it's with pleasure and it's, quite immense. I always look forward to our class. I'd say I don't sit down in most classes totally. I sit down in shades. So I sit down in shades and Lisa's before Lisa starts feeling jealous. I stay in Lisa's class too entirely. So it's a pleasure on behalf of the board, on behalf of the Electoral College and myself, and a lot of others to welcome Shay to the class. I think Shay has some network issues and she has not been able to. She was in, but okay, she's back in. So she has graduated to, the board, and she has gone to school, first head in Lagos, then becoming deputy director Southwest, and then becoming a board member. There is one of the gifts this country has. I do not talk about Shay lightly. He knows I hold her in very much high esteem. Shay, while you're not here, I said when you called me on the phone, I stated because last time I heard you sound like an activist. And I'm happy that you believed or thought I was worthy to direct the sport and always shared, everything sports. It's a pleasure to welcome Shay, Bella, and my friend, my Oga at the top, because they're on board, I'm their servant as ED because I have a functional position. So it's a pleasure to welcome you and have her take the class. So yeah, I look forward to what you're going to do today. And of course, I know it's going to be exemplary as usual. Today, you have to go.
Thank you, Kunle. God bless you as usual. Sorry, I don't know what's wrong with my network and camera today, but while the class continues, I'll try to fix that. So I've been having network issues, so I'll just like to say thank you for joining my class today. My name is Shay Bella, and forgive me in advance because I always say to my students every time that I don't necessarily teach, we discuss. So I like my sessions to be as engaging as possible, as opposed to telling people stuff or explaining things to people. I like us to, reason things out ourselves. So that way it sticks better. as opposed to, just reading stuff out. So there's this slide that, I prepared a while back that would most likely be going, that would be scrolling through. But I'm not going to bore us with all of that because, we always have limited time. I've noticed that most of my classes, if I go on yapping for like almost an hour, would spend another hour and a half, arguing and deliberating and asking questions and all, because like I said, my classes are very, interactive. So we'll just go straight to the point. I'm not going to bore you or, malign what you already know by trying to explain what the judiciary means or what good governance means. But just so, we ensure that everyone is on track. I don't know. Oh, and by the way, during my classes, please, I try to encourage everyone to go on mute as much as possible, turn on your cameras and all, and please engage. If the conversation is as engaging as, as it should be safe, we give stuff around here. So please, as much as you can, engage. So with that being said, I'm not going to explain what the judiciary and everything is to you. Someone here would have to do the honors. So is there anyone at all? Please kindly raise your hand so that I can ask you to unmute. Just quickly, briefly explain what, you think the judiciary means for us.
Hey, am I allowed to participate?
Not on the judiciary, no. I'm going to call you out, but not now. I have something else for you.
Okay, then.
We have a hand up. Ajibola is up.
Okay, Ajibola, please can you unmute?
I'll ask him to unmute.
All right. What I think judiciary know from our basic knowledge is that they are the one that interprets the law. Like they are the one that, aside from the parliamentary being the charge of the constitution, they are the one that will interpret whatever the legislation, whenever there's a conflict between the executive or within the citizen, we always our way to the judiciary to hear our opinion out and
wait.
to give
Sorry, Chairman. Your name again?
Ajibola.
Ajibola, there's no parliamentary in Nigeria. We do not run that system of government. We are not in Britain.
I said they are the one that interpret the law.
I heard what you said. I heard what you said. You spoke about the judiciary, but when you were talking, you said apart from the parliamentary, there's no parliamentary in Nigeria. We do not run a republican system of government. I know I'm correcting something you said. You added parliamentary. We have a legislative in Nigeria, not a parliamentary. That's what I'm correcting.
Aside from the thank you so much. Aside from the legislature who makes the law, and when there is a conflict between either the executive and the legislative, and either when the citizen has issue, we always make our way to the judiciary to let them know that this is what we have done. Any rulings that they give happens to be the verdict. Like, I mean, they are the one that will interpret the law. That's the basic I know.
So in summary, if we get you, because you did mumble your way through a lot of things. So if I understand you correctly, you're saying that the judiciary serves as a guardian between the legislative and the executive and the people. Is that what you're saying? And then they interpret the law. That's what you said in summary.
But the basic thing, the bottom line is that they interpret the law.
Correct. So I'm going to take that one thing from your position, that they interpret the law, and then I'm going to allow someone else, give us some other. I think Obi Godwin, your hands are up. So please, can you quickly?
Obi Godwin, you can unmute yourself and talk.
So let's not forget, we've taken the fact that judiciary interprets the law from what he said. Yeah. Is there any other? Please don't repeat everything he has said. Yeah, what you're saying has to be something else. So please, Obi, quickly.
Obi Godwin, can you unmute yourself and talk?
Okay, thank you so much. Good evening, our teacher. Judiciary is one of the organs of government. Virtually every system of government have about 3 organs. government. We have the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. Judiciary on its own deal with the interpretation of law, adjudicating of law of dispute, and then also it helps to for check and balances of the powers of the other two organs of government. That's what I really want to point out.
Okay. Is there anybody else? Please? There's something I'm waiting to hear. There are like two things I'm waiting
Mohammed is up.
Yeah.
Salako.
So Mohammed, please, briefly and quickly, can you?
So the judiciary is the third tier of this government, and they help alongside with the executive and the legislative to help interpret and apply the law of the constitution and upholding the constitution. That's what I know of what the judiciary is.
Okay. Anybody else? There's something that I'm waiting for. Everyone keeps talking about how they hold the other two arms of government accountable, which is correct. I know, but there's something else that I'm waiting to hear. Balogun, why is it I don't always have a lot of women in my class? Why?
Okay, ma. Good evening, ma.
Yes, good evening.
Judiciary is the branch of government responsible for interpreting laws and administering justice through the court system with the goal of protecting individual rights and promoting fairness and justice.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, ma.
You've pretty much covered it, yes. So beyond the judiciary just being there for the other arms of government, their primary responsibility is actually to us. And I always say that the judiciary is a tool. It doesn't work on its own, right? For the judiciary to work, we actually have to go to it to say that, okay, oh, this is the grievance I have, or, stuff like that. So yes, that's what the judiciary is. They serve as check and balances for the other two governments, yes. They interpret the law, yes. But they also, kind of like serve as the protector of rule of law. They are there for me and you, citizens. I always call us the fourth arm of government. And by the way, I always hear what I've noticed in every class is how generally everybody says, oh, judiciary is the third arm of government. Who numbered the arms of government, by the way? Who said this government is number one, this government is number two, this arm is number three? Who did that? Does anybody know? Anyways, let's get on with it. So we kind of like understand what the judiciary does and what they stand for. We understand our judicial system, right? I hope that everybody here understands our judicial system. I mean, the customary court, the magistrate court, the high court, then there's the National Industrial Court, then there's the Sharia Court of Appeal, then there's the customary court, and then there's the Court of Appeal, and then there's the Supreme Court of Nigeria. We all know that, right? Because this class is not to talk about the different courts that we have and all. It's deeper than that. I understand that we must have done that in government class, in secondary school, right? Please, as conversational as possible. Okay, Ilori said yes, great. So, that being said, can anyone here briefly also explain to me, before this class fully sets in, what we understand, what governance means to us? We're always shouting, oh, we want good governance, good governance, good governance. What is good governance? What is governance? Then what is good governance? Does anyone know? I expect everybody's hands to be raised, though, because for the past 2 weeks, we've all been chanting, say no to bad governance. Do you understand? So if you know what bad governance is, you would know what good governance is. So please, Elisha, please, can you unmute and explain that to us?
Good evening. Before I say something.
Good evening.
Governance, from my little understanding, is the interaction between the government and the governed. It's the whole thing involving the government, the governing process, where involving both the people in power and the population at large, maintaining their rights and etc.
Okay. That's a brilliant way to put it. Thank you. Anybody else? I do not know how to pronounce your name, but I'm going to try. So please correct me when you're on mute. Oh, okay. Is this really a name? Trailblazer?
Zakaria, yes.
Trailblazer. Is that a name or your nickname?
Yeah, Zakaria, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
sorry,
Can you
Zachariah is my
pronounce the
name.
other name for me?
No,
Trailblazer.
actually, that's not my name. That's like a group that I belong to. I
Right.
forgot to name myself. I'm so sorry about that.
No, that's all right. That's all right.
Yeah.
Now
Thank you.
you have the floor.
Thank you so much for the wonderful. So, to my own understanding, government simply means the way and manner by which the human resources, natural resources are being managed by an individual or by a group of individuals.
Okay, fine.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So the next person I'm going to call, I don't want you to explain to me what governance means. I want you to explain to me what good governance is. And thankfully, we have a girl, Maria Oche. Please, can you unmute and explain to us what good governance means? I do not say governance.
Maria, you can unmute yourself now.
All right. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Maria.
When we're talking about good governance, to me, it's being a government that is being able to hold the government accountable.
Okay, keep going.
Yes, and also, like, good governance is the kind of government that listens to the voices of the people that put them in power. And a government that is yes, the public opinion of the people can sometimes be misleading. But most times, being able to give the people who put them in power that sense of importance, like you matter to us and we are here to serve you.
Yeah.
And also good governance for me would be being
not
able
for you, for all of us.
Okay.
So
good governance for all of us is being able to like see the pain points of those who put them in positions of power and not like neglecting them and making them feel like, okay, we are where we are and there is nothing anybody can do about our actions.
Okay. So hold that thought. So everybody, I hope you've listened, you heard that. So everyone hold that thought. I'm going to call one more person to add to whatever she said, and then I'll take it up from there. Obi Godwin, please unmute.
I've asked you to unmute, Godwin.
All right, thank you so much. For me, good governance is about the application of rule of law and judiciously, the judicial application of rule of law. You know, it goes beyond the idea of following the bureaucracy that is involved in the governance. It's actually that aspect where the electorate, or let's say our representative, has a listening ear and judiciously use the human and natural resources that are available for the greater good of the greater number of people. That's what I look at good governance to me.
Okay, thank you. Let me just call one more person. There was someone who, I think her name is Habiba Suleiman. Please, can you unmute?
Habiba Suleiman, you can speak now.
Good evening. So for me, good governance is when the government is being accountable of what they do. Like they account whatever they do and respond to citizens questions for what they are doing, what they will do, how they will do, and all that. Then lastly, being transparent. I know it's not everything that is going to be open, but at least 80% of information should be accessible so that the doubts will be cleared. So this is just my own thought. Thank you.
Okay. So you see, so basically my class is going to start from here literally. And like I said, remember that I'm not going to take us through something that we all know already. Do you understand? We all know that, Nigeria is plagued. that we're most likely, plagued with bad governance issue. We know that already. We're not going to go through popular opinion or what everybody is already on or saying on social media or on TV or on all of that. I always love, and that's not to mitigate that or say that that's not an issue, but I always like to look at things differently, because when you're looking at one thing in a certain way and you've still not produced results, maybe it's time to look at things another way. I've called some people now to explain to us what good governance means, and it is not necessarily that they are wrong. Their explanations were actually somewhat correct, but it is the perspective. You see, the issue, I would like to explain to us that, I believe that the issue we have in Nigeria is the fact that we exclude ourselves from governance. Everyone that has spoken has said, they've been saying government this, they did that, but we are failing to realize that we are a part of the system. Who is they? Like, everyone's been saying they. Who is the they, please? How many people are in government? Tani they? Who is they? Can someone tell me who the days are? We exclude ourselves so much from these things that when we are given, what we see, we complain. Why are you complaining when you do not want to be a part of the process in the first place? In order to actually achieve good governance in any institution, yes, you have to uphold the rule of law, yes. There has to be political stability, yes. There have to be effectiveness and efficiency, yes. There have to be measures against anti-corruption, yes. But above anything, there has to be citizen participation. That's like the biggest part. Like, it's like making rice. When you're making rice, or let me say when you're making jollof rice, you put in everything to make the jollof rice sweet, yes, but you forget to put the tin tomato or the tomato. Please, how is that jollof rice? You've put in everything, The rice may be sweet or may be bad, depending on the amount of spice that you put in. But because of the lack of presence of tin tomato there or tomato, you can simply not call that food jollof rice anymore. Sure, So how we expect good governance without citizen participation is what I don't understand. I deliberately, I started with, okay, somebody explain. I deliberately called like different people. And even if I was saying, okay, one or two, I kept saying, okay, let's call somebody else, hoping that I would hear something that included the citizens, but nothing. Absolutely nothing. Again, not to say that you are wrong, but I think that we've all gotten used to a certain pattern for so long that we forget that, there's something that our government teacher did not tell us in secondary school, by the way. I always say this in all my classes, and I say this to all my friends. Our government teachers forgot to tell us that other than the 3 arms of government that the Constitution, recognizes, there's another arm of government that I would say, has existed even before the 3 arms of government became 3 arms of government. I always call it the main arm of government, or sometimes the 4th arm of government, which is citizen participation. Don't you think that you belong somewhere? So, there's the legislator, yes, there's the executive, yes, there's the judiciary. What about you and I? Like, where do we fall under? Or do you think there can be any government without you? Or let me even make an example. It's how Nigerians are always quick to say, once something happens, oh, may Nigeria not happen to you. I understand the pain that comes from that. May Nigeria never happen to you. But we are so used to shifting accountability that we forget that we are actually what makes Nigeria Nigeria. We're the Nigeria and the Nigeria that is happening to Nigeria. We forget that. We get so used to our problems, our pain, and everything that we forget to be practical, we forget to be realistic, we forget to be logical, and we just become so sentimental and emotional with everything. May Nigeria not happen to you. Please, who is Nigeria? What is Nigeria? When you carry your passport around, what does it say that you are? Really, like, take take a moment and think, what are you? You're first a human being, yes, but you're second in Nigerian. Before you're Igbo, before you're Yoruba, before you're Hausa, before you're, any other thing. You're first Nigerian. So when something happens and you go, may Nigeria not happen to you? By the way, the truck, for example, there was an incident that happened 2 weeks ago. A truck driver fell on a car. And you see comments, bad governance, bad president. Not to say that we don't have a leadership problem, don't get me wrong. But I'm trying to put us through the pattern of how we are so used to not keeping ourselves accountable, that when anything happens, we run and, we'd say anything else without necessarily forgetting that, we're part of this system. A truck driver falls on a car and you go, bad governance, may Nigeria not happen to you. Please, who was the person driving the truck that fell on another car? Wasn't it a Nigerian like you and I? Just probably another man trying to earn his daily bread, right? Before his family even knows that it was a family member that was driving the truck, them too must have said on Instagram, so and so has happened. May Nigeria not happen to us. You're literally saying, may you not happen to someone else. That's what you're saying. My class hasn't always taken this approach, but for the past few classes, I've been moving away from what I used to teach to more practical things, because I think that we're forgetting what the priority is. Rules are made for us, right? To have a sensible living, for us to be comfortable, for us to live peacefully amongst us. It's not the other way around. Bad governance, but bad citizens too. Do we even realize that? Do we? I would like to start, let's go back to this, yeah. How many of us, so even if we want to, lead a protest or complain about, the government system not working, this is not working, the primary thing is that, do we even know how to get it right? Do we know how to do it the right way? Do we not realize that it goes beyond protesting? Let me say something, for example, yeah. Let's say, is anybody, okay, I'll use myself as an example. I live in Lagos. My family lives in Lagos. It's your local government, yeah. And let's say the transformer is bad in my local government, or there's a small health care in my local government, and somebody gets shot, and the medical doctor there refuses to attend to the person that gets shot because they say, bring police report first, and then the person dies. Or there's been no lights in my estate for like 1 week, and maybe the road is bad within my small community. I'll go on Instagram and say, bad governance, President Tinubu, I want your head. Get out of office. Do you know that makes me even look more dumb? Why? Not because all of those things are happening to me, or they are not happening to me, but because he's even the wrong person to call. What about your local government chairman that was put in charge of that? Do people forget? See, it's like we focus so much on the head that we forget that before an issue gets to the head, it might have been rotting from somewhere else. Why do you have a leg injury and you go and do MRI for your head? Don't you know that before it gets to your head, your leg would have been rotting, and it will take years. Sometimes it will take a long time before it starts to affect your brain. Don't you know that? Don't you know that? How many of us here, let's even start, how many of us here voted for our local government chairman? How many of us even know our local government chairman? Let's even start with that. My class is becoming quiet though. Michael, please unmute and please let us hear you out.
Michael,
please.
Mute. Michael, are you there?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Hello, can you hear me, please? Yes, this is Michael Onoja. Okay, is it Michael Onoja they are referring to, please?
Yes, Michael Naja, your hands are raised up, except you didn't. That was a mistake.
Okay. That was actually for the previous participation, but I think I can still respond to this. As a person, I've been actively involved in the government and leaders of my local government, and I know my local government chairman, the councillor representing my council ward, and I interact with them regularly.
That's beautiful. Well done, Michael. Anyone else?
So he's gone, but there's Abdulaziz.
Okay.
I'll pass it on mute.
Please unmute.
Abdulaziz.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to ask one question. How many of us here knows the roles and responsibility of our local government chairman? Like, you have a local government chairman, yeah. What is he supposed to be doing for you? Does anyone know?
Okay, let me unmute Ibrahim. Rafin Daddy, Ibrahim.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, Ibrahim.
We know our local government chairman, and some of their responsibilities are being even taken by the governors.
That's not the question. Let's forget. You know, this is what I said earlier. For like a short time, let's forget government. Let's forget everyone else. Again, accountability. It's a simple question. You said you've acknowledged now that you know your local government chairman. What does your local government chairman owe you? You know, you said, oh, this is my representative and I voted to put him here. He's supposed to give you something in return, or she's supposed to give you something in return. What is that thing in return that they're supposed to give you? Do you know?
Meshach.
Okay.
And it's okay not to know. I'm just trying to drive a point here. I'm trying to make us understand that it is not everything that you call. Again, please do not get me wrong. I am not saying that we do not have a governance issue. We have a very big, terrible governance issue. But I'm trying to get us to understand how we're a part of this problem and how we can stop being a part of this problem. So again, I've said to you, yeah, you have an issue in your neighborhood, oh, there's no light, or healthcare is bad, or there's something wrong going on, and you run on Instagram to say, President Babangida or President Danladi or President this, step down. There's bad road in my area, there's no light in my area, there's this in my area. Who are you supposed to be addressing those concerns to? Is it your president
there are about
Abuja
7
and doesn't
hands
even know what
up.
your local government is called?
There are about 7 hands up that want to attempt this question, man.
Okay, let's go for someone who hasn't spoken, please. I think there's a Oguntowo.
Okay. But I've asked Meshach to speak.
Okay, Meshach, please go ahead then.
All right, thank you very much. I mean, this is very close. We had local government administration class yesterday. So one of the functions of the local government administrator is actually to represent the grassroots, right? I mean, he's the one that needs to first of all collaborate with major stakeholders within the local government to actually push for first security of lives and properties. Secondly, proper representation, especially at the and then thirdly, a local government chairman has the power, according to the class we had yesterday, to actually make laws and sponsor bills also. But just like we also concluded in our class yesterday, that these things are not forthcoming, they are not visible within the local government space. Thank you.
Thank you. There are 2-3 more things that I want someone else to That's correct, by the way. But there's 2 more. So can someone else,
Moriam Ogunto, I've asked you to speak.
Good evening.
Good evening.
One of the major roles that I think the local government offers to the citizen in particular is essential services like healthcare, to ensure public safety, and also to foster community. And
directly also representing us, representing our primary wants that we want in the community. So all the things that in our local government, all our needs, essential services, the local government is in charge of delivering that to us. So that's my belief as the role of the local government.
Yes. Please, what's your name again? Sorry, can you introduce yourself again?
My name is Mariam.
Thank
Mariam
you. I'm going to drop my details, or at the end of the class, the moderator will give you my detail. Please, I have something for you, Mariam. Thank you very much for that. Do we realize that our first point of contact when we have any grievance should be our local governor? And do we realize that he is a part of our community, and sometimes like they are more accessible and more reachable than it is to reach your president? Do you realize that? And like Mariam just said, do you understand? You've not had light in your community for a certain number of time. That is why you have a local government chairman. Your president cannot oversee everything. He cannot know everything. There are chains of commands to these things. Do you understand? You have issues like, you don't have basic health care in your I'm not talking about world-class hospital now. That's not what I'm talking about. But at least a health center for first aid and everything. You don't have that. And you go on social media and say, our president is demonic. He cannot give us simple health care. Or, our president is demonic. There was one time I read something like, the government of the day, they are feeding off of the bloods that, that die off on bad roads in Nigeria. And I was thinking that really, your bad road in your communities should be sponsored by your local government chairman. It tells, sometimes I always say this, when you want to fight for a cause, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the cause you're fighting for is wrong, but it is always best to go back and study that cause, understand it, know what you're getting into before you come out. It's really that simple. You have no health care. Why are you dragging the president or your governor? You drag the local government chairman so that your local government chairman can drag State House of Assembly, so that one can drag the governor, so that the governor can drag the president. You cannot take on the government yourself. You would literally die. Except the whole of Nigeria is ready to do that all at once. It's not simple, but it's not as hard or as far-fetched as we think. Is what I'm trying to explain to us. We're overthinking this thing. Your local government chairman, even though he personally does not reside within his constituencies, of which they're mandated to, but let's just say that you happen to have a local government chairman that lives in Abuja. His parents will most likely live within that constituency. His children, his cousin, he would have family members within that constituency. Let's say within your area, you've not had light for like a month. And by when I mean light, light doesn't affect just our ability to watch TV and everything. It affects small businesses, people with, maybe frozen foods or other things that has to do with electricity will not be able to function as well as they need to. Instead of them to carry all of that pain, do you understand? You're not the only one facing it. Most likely everybody within your area is facing it, right? Carry that pain. Rally like-minded people like you. Go door, even if it means, I've done it before, even if it means going door to door, that Lagbaja, look at what is happening. Don't you see? And our local government chairman just lives on 3 streets away. Is he not feeling it too? Even if he's not feeling it, let's go and tell him that this is what we're feeling. You carry your small community, go to your local government chairman's house, knock on his door. By the time you do it day one, see, this protest would have been so much more effective if we were all marching towards our own constituency. Like if we're just going directly to the source, because that's what it's like. How, for example, in a school, you don't just have a proprietor. Do you know how ridiculous it is for you to just walk up to your proprietor and, express your concerns to him or her? You won't see him all the time. But who you see all the time is your class prefect, right? You express your grievances to your class prefect. And even if your class prefect doesn't want to take you seriously, because it's a part of you, over time, he will become tired of the disturbance, the pressure. You would have to report to the class teacher. And even when the class teacher does not want to take it seriously, over time, the class teacher will get tired of the class prefect disturbing. the class teacher would have to go to the principal of the school. And even if the principal of the school doesn't want to take it seriously, by the time the whole community is on him, he will get tired and go to the proprietor. That's how you get heard, literally. How do we not see that? How? I'm not saying it's that simple, but at least if you want to do something, you do it right and you follow the process. How many of really? It's even far-fetched to think that your president that is in Abuja, Aso Rock, knows that you don't have lights in whatever community that you're in for like you've not had light for like a month. Or knows that in one healthcare system, in one healthcare hospital, there's lack of, oxygen, there's no this, there's no that. No, that's why your local government chairman is there. And that's why it's, not to put pressure on the local government chairman, but I'm literally telling you that that's how you get heard if you want to get heard. It's a long, tedious process, but so is everything good. Change does not just, no, you need to toil for it. You need to work and not only work, because you can have a ladder on a wall and you can get up that ladder, but what if your ladder is on the wrong wall? You have to come down and put it on the right wall, right? So you need to know what you are doing. You need to be passionate enough to know what you are doing from the get-go. Now I'm using this Bible verse as an example, not because I'm a Christian, but because even if for lack of Christians, at least we can see the Bible as a history book. Do you understand? Let's remove the spirituality out of the Bible and see it as a history book. Back in the day, there were this set of people. What's the tower they were trying to build? There was this tower they were trying to build. They were trying to build this tower so high. They all came together. The whole community came together, and they were trying to build this tower so they could, reach the sky or reach, thank you, Tower of Babylon. They were trying to build the tower so they can reach the sky and commune with God and everything. Do you know that in the Bible, I wish I could remember the exact words. Do you know that in that particular verse, when I saw the profanity of it, I was like, wow, that particular verse did not talk about the impossibility of them building the tower. The particular verse said, when men come together to fight for a cause, there is 100% chance of succeeding. And the only way to break that is to throw confusion among them, to be able to make them, to throw confusion among them. And what's the best way to throw confusion among people? So that, basically break your communication skills now, right? So what God did at the time was to, make them not understand each other again. All of a sudden, they started to speak different languages. And that's the thing. When you speak different languages that nobody can hear, there's lack of togetherness anymore. There's no proper networking. You can't come together to do what you're supposed to do or push your agenda. And that's how that project failed. Not because they couldn't do it, but because of breach in communication and lack of togetherness. Thank you very much. Genesis 11:7. Let me even look for it. So that's that. When I go back to that part, like I said, let's take the spirituality of things out of it. And okay, yes, let's take the spirituality out of it and just listen to the principle and concept behind it, because that's what it's supposed to be. It says, look, he said, the people are united and they all speak the same language. After this, nothing they set out to do will be impossible for them. Come, let's go down and confuse the people with different languages. Then they won't be able to understand each other. That's the power of communication and togetherness. Simply put, what it's just to tell you that when the adversary does not want something, the main thing that he throws at you is lack of effective communication. You are fighting for agenda. Somebody says something small about Igbo. Nigeria is scattered. This is not a way to focus on what you're supposed to focus on. To be focusing on it. You start fighting, Yoruba did this, Hausa did this, Igbo did this, da. It all aligns to one thing that we have all failed to, to face, that we're not ready. And above all, we as people, before our government, we lack accountability. We lack accountability. And again, we always fail to realize that we are the fourth most important arm of governance, citizenship participation. Don't you even feel somehow that you're being oppressed by less than the 1%? Do you know how ridiculous that sounds? Like, when I ask people that, oh, you keep complaining of bad governance, what have you done to help the situation? I'll be hearing protests, but no, everybody can protest. Anybody can protest. That's protest. Yes, I'm not against protest. I protest, but you don't just protest. That's not it, because the government people say that they've started again after 1 week. Once Big Brother Naija starts, or once they start their Igbo versus Yoruba war, or once something happens, they will forget. And that's to show how distracted we are as individuals, as citizens. And any small thing again will run on social media. May Nigeria not happen to you? Can you not? How are we not seeing that we are being complicit to the problems that we're complaining about?
Shay, I wanted to add a little thing. So the case that you mentioned about the Tower of Babel, it's not called the Tower of Babel in the Holy Quran, but the same story is there with God instructing Haman to build a tower. The same story is in the Holy Quran. So the fact that you thought it was just in the Bible, it's not just in the Bible, it's in the Holy Quran.
Thank you very much.
It's just that it's not called Tower of Babel there, but the same story is there, and the same thing happened.
Even more beautiful. So that's to buttress the fact again that very thing I said is take away the principle. So it means that, historically it is there that the one way to break a man's goal or his vision is to reach that power of togetherness and communication. And once you've shut that down, you've shut everything down. You've shut that. Once the foundation is no longer there, there's nothing there anymore. Accountability is so important in governance. It is the major reason why we look like we've not gotten anything right as a people. It is because we've looked outwardly for such a long time that we don't even see that we are a part of the problem. Bad governance. When the government dishes out money to fix a road, or to make the long stretch of Lagos-Ibadan Express Road, or to make the Onitsha Road, or any road, who does it give the contract to? Government does not fix road now. Government will give the contract to you and I. Do you understand? You may own a construction company. I may own a construction company. Remove the fact that maybe I bribed or did whatever to get the job. The point is that it is a citizen that gets the bidding for that particular job. I, as a citizen, I go and get inferior goods and I make a road that does not last for 10 years, and then the road gets bad, and all of us will shout again, bad governance. How is that bad governance? That's bad people, bad us, bad citizenship. We've gotten it wrong for so long. It is not the government that builds road. They enable the building of road. They facilitate it. They give money out. Do you understand? But it is you and I who actually do the job. And then we come out, even the people that did the job, their children too will come out to say, may Nigeria not happen to you. It's a vicious circle that needs to stop, really. It's a vicious circle. We need to see where the problem is and address it head on. It is only then that we would actually get effective change. We complain of, the government bullying people. Who is the government using to bully people? Are the governments the ones on the road bullying people, or be they empowering me and you to bully other people? Yes, bad governance. What about bad people?
Shay, I had a conversation when somebody here defined good governance, and the person was saying good governance is when the people, the government is responsible to the people that put them there. Do you know that in politics in Nigeria, we never actually put the government there? So let's look at it this way. What is your investment in ensuring that the government gets into office? Is it by putting DP? Is it by arguing on Twitter? Is that your investment to putting in a government? That's not an investment. And let me extend it even into a more broad perspective. When they put end bad governance, I remember I put the hashtag end bad citizenship. I don't know if you saw it on my WhatsApp status. Yeah.
I did that.
And I was attacked. I was attacked on Facebook. I was attacked on social media for making that statement. But I told them, it's only citizens that are responsible for the kind of leaders they have. The way Nigerians seem to mortgage their responsibilities so comfortably has become a culture that we do not think we're responsible for what happened. Okay, you didn't want Tinubu to be president. Why were you not in APC? Why did you not work hard in APC to become a delegate and ensure he doesn't win the primaries? You didn't participate. You didn't do anything. Then he enters as president and you start singing. I don't understand. Did you skip the part where you were supposed to? So there cannot be bad governance without bad citizenship. Bad citizenship enables bad governance. That's the truth. Nigeria cannot have 96 million voters and less than 30 million beside the president. That means 60 million people cannot discuss. They cannot even discuss bad governance because the truth is they didn't care. But, you know, it's Nigeria as usual. We choose not to face the script as it is. Well done, Shay.
Yeah. And there's something he just mentioned, and I would not take it for granted. He said something about, most of us feel like, no matter, what we do or whether we vote or not, a certain cabal would always put whoever they want in power. Let's even run with that. Let's say that, okay, you're right. No matter how much you vote, or even if 100 people come out to vote and 100 people vote for a certain person, do you understand? The cabal would always put whoever they want to put. Fine, let's go with your principle. But the point remains that there would always be... See, the government is as bad as you allow them to be. I think that's the right word. The government literally is as bad as me and you, we collectively allow them to be. Again, you voted, and whoever you voted for, whoever the majority voted for, did not did not become the president or did not become the governor. Fine. But there are still ways around this. They've voted and we now have a president, we now have a governor, we now have a local government chairman. These are the things that, they are accountable. These are the things that they are supposed to deliver to us, and they are not delivering. What do? You go grassroots. You identify your local government chairman, you identify what he's supposed to do for you, and you hold him by the throat. And like that, your local government chairman will point you to the... Nobody wants to die. He will literally point you to the person that is not enabling a project or enabling a project. And like that, it literally moves. So it doesn't even matter who is in government. What matters is who is holding the government accountable. Don't get me wrong. I'm not underestimating the fact that we do have bad leadership and we do have bad governance. But I want us to understand beyond anything that governance is less than 1% of the population. And you only get what you allow.
Say 1% is even pulling it high.
Less.
1% will mean that there are 2 million, what they call it, 2 million people participating at least in governance.
They are just, I think they're just 103 senators or so.
No,
right?
the 109.
So they are not 109.
Yeah. The National Assembly in total is 469.
Yeah. So
we calculated it for them.
People that they are not even up to 1,000. They are not up to a certain local government district. Really. After this class, this class is just to get you thinking, you cannot do anything on your own. You honestly, you just die. That's the truth. No one is saying go and fight the government, go and do this, go and do that. What we're just trying to say is do it the right way. Do you understand? Go back and first, it's as simple as traffic lights, especially in Lagos. The traffic light is red and you just keep crossing because what? You're above the law, or there's a traffic jam, and instead of you to maintain your lane so that it will go slowly but surely, you decide to pass the other way that the ongoing traffic is going from, and then you block every way, and then you're shouting bad governance. Are you not part of the problem?
Really? Actually, you're even going too far. Let's come down to the electoral college class.
Are you not part of the problem?
Let's come down to the electoral college class. Follow the class. Attend class at 5. At 5, nobody is in class. Character shows. Participate. Do your assignments. You don't do them more. You feel you can't be told anything. Maybe because the class is free. And now you have facilitators that are trying to tell you something. You say no. Let me even dispel something. Don't think that majority of the people voted for another person and another person won. I'll tell you, as long as you weren't part of the monitoring of elections, which I was part of, I will tell you the president, officially, I'm going to tell you, and I'm not telling you because I'm in college, I'm telling you because it's true. the president won the election. By the numbers that they say it was, it wasn't. But I'll tell you that anybody, and this is official, you can take me to school on this, anyone who scored above 1 million votes in Nigeria rigged his election. That I'll tell you. I was on ground, I worked with the EU monitoring, and I know what happened. So nobody should come here and sugarcoat this person is not my president, or I'm not going to respect the anthem. This is very highly disrespectful. You do it in the class, post this thing as what citizens' responsibilities are to the state. But let's not deceive yourself. The person who won the elections is the president. But he might not have won with the margins. But don't also negate minusing the margins of Atiku Abubakar, Kwankwaso, and Peter Obi. And that's the truth. And the sooner you get that truth in your head, the better you understand how politics work. A lot of people on Twitter and say a lot of things, not my president, not your president. Constitution has backed it, and it's constitution backed. Like I said earlier, a lot of people have problems with how INEC transmitted. I agree. INEC spoke in bad faith with Nigerians and said they would transmit remotely. That did not work. But if you go to the Electoral Act and you check it, law in the Electoral Act clearly states INEC has a choice to transmit how it deems fit. So INEC did not break the law. INEC might have broken the faith of Nigerian people, but did not break the law. And I need you guys to understand it clearly.
So, Obi Godwin, I just saw your chat. You said the weaponization of poverty, religion, and tribal sentiment by the elites is what kept us in perpetual ignorance, right? But don't you still think that we're playing the, victimization card again and trying to absolve ourselves of accountability? If you're being kept in perpetual ignorance, why don't you fight back? Why are we not so interested that we say we don't want to be ignorant anymore?
No. Shay, this is coming from somebody that if, let's say, what's his name? Shay, what's his name?
No, I don't.
Olga, right? No. I want to say something. His name is. No. There's something I want to say. So if his sister maybe brought a Yoruba guy, and it doesn't necessarily mean to be him, brought a Yoruba guy to the house and said that's what she wants to marry, there will be stiff fights in the family. If the father is doing business with a Yoruba man, they say, Yoruba men used to talk too much, they will reveal our trade secrets. Don't blame government for what you are already perpetrating. We are already perpetrating it as a people. It happens in governance because it's people that are in government, not somebody else. So it's a culture of Nigerians, not a culture of government. You perpetrate tribe. Nigerians always, the easiest thing to say in Nigeria, do you know who I am? Which means all of us abuse power. If today I have a problem with Shei is owing me 1 million naira. I'll use my links to call DSS on Shei, true or false. Is that not abuse of power? We all abuse powers at different levels. A landlord maybe his tenant has just owed him 2 weeks of rent. He brings boys, brings everything. So don't blame government for it. Don't say government weaponized this. That's poor conversation. We have weaponized any advantage we have over our fellow citizens. And that's Nigeria's modus operandi. Thank you.
So
it's only comfortable.
Basically, I would say this and I'll say it again. Please, every one of us, we have our primary assignment and our primary objective is to get to know our grass leaders. It is majorly as citizens, the most, I wouldn't say the only, but the most effective way to, communicate your grievances and to actually make changes. Again, President Tinubu does not know my name. He doesn't know your name. He doesn't know where you're from. Like, how do you even expect him to care about things like that when he should literally be concerned about, there's a lot of things to presidency. There's terrorism, there's the economy, there's all of that at play, at large. Do you understand? There's the diplomacy with other countries. And that is why he has representatives like the local government chairman, his governors, the state house of assemblies to take care of things like that. And when those things are not taken care of properly, you know how to channel, I wouldn't even say anger just there, but you know how to channel your wants and demands accordingly. And also, again, that is what the judiciary is for. How many of us we're so used to say that courts no they work for Nigeria, who they go court, who did. But have we actually tried it? How many do you realize that you can carry your leaders to court? You know, we're so used to complaining that we don't even see. The thing is that we don't want to work. We don't want to actually do the work. We just want to complain and get the politicians to fix the problem for us. But really, how do you expect the people that are perpetrating this evil to fix the evil for you? It doesn't make any sense. It's like dropping 100 million on the floor, and then even if you're not a thief, you know that you don't even have to be a thief to be tempted to commit such crimes. Let's say, for example, myself as an individual, I'll use myself as an example. Let's say, myself as an individual, I've never stolen before. I've never done stuff like that before. But due to economical problems, I can no longer feed my family properly. I can no longer do the things that I love to do properly. And I'm walking down the street, and I happen to see 100 million. Or let's even say that I'm walking by a government building and I happen to see 100 million just like that. And I'll now start thinking of all the problems that I have. I'm not a thief naturally, but temptation has presented itself. I will go and take it. Do you understand? And I've taken this thing and I've spent it, and I saw that this is quick, easy money. Nobody even came to look for me. Nobody even said, that money you stole, where is it? Or we kept this money with you. How did you spend it? I'll go there. Once that money finishes, I'll go there again to see if there's more. I will take it. And like that, I've become, because no one's holding me accountable and it's just free money, I will keep taking, literally. That's what it is. You will go there and do the same. It is not the individual that is necessarily the issue. It is the lack of accountabilities. These things, we keep saying we don't have laws in Nigeria, we don't have rules in Nigeria. That's like the most stupid thing ever. Will law itself, will tool itself, they are there for you to use. It will not work by itself. You say, the judiciary is so terrible. This is so terrible. How would the judiciary work if you don't literally bring stuff to it? In summary, not to say that they don't have their own fault. So what I'm saying is that do your own first. Then when you do your own, we'll know that at least you've done your part. Have you done your part? Have you played your role as the fourth arm of government? No. But we like to complain. Please, I would like to, plead with every one of us that before we go ahead saying, Nigeria never happened to you, let's remember that, we're actually the Nigerians that are happening to Nigeria. It's not the other way around. And always let's remember that to really have good governance, and it takes having good citizens. We're used to comparing ourselves to the UK, we're used to comparing ourselves to America, but you know one thing that they have that we don't have? It is not that their governors or their House of Parliament or their representatives are saints or they are so good that they don't do these things. No, it is fear of accountability. They walk in line because they know that the people will basically tear them to pieces. Or do you know in the UK, if a prime minister last one is flying first class, I don't say private jet, the way they will tear him down, I hope it's not our tax. I hope it's not the people's tax. They will start to scrutinize which money did this person travel with, what did this person do. It is the people that do it. The government will not hold themselves accountable for you. No, now. Would you do it yourself? Do you hold yourself accountable where you work? Like we expect too much and we forget that at the end of the day, really and truly, we're just all humans and we're susceptible to a lot of bad behaviors. And that's why we have tools in place. That's why we have structures in place. That's why we have institutions in place to hold us in line and to hold us accountable. And again, I would always say this, above any legislative, executive, or judiciary arm, we have a very big role to play. We have the most important role to play in governance. A government is as bad as the people let it to be. Literally. They get worse and they become harder to control, yes. But at the very beginning, it is because the people let it to be that way. it has now just gotten so bad that we look at it's now very difficult for us to change, and this thing has been going on for years. But how did it start in the first place? We're looking at it start. That's how it started. It's going to take a lot of time to change. It's going to take years. It's going to take a lot of togetherness. It's going to take a lot of illiteracy liberation. Do you understand? You've learned something today, you need to go and liberate your other Nigerians. It's going to take a lot of liberation. But the point is that you have, it's baby steps. Do you understand? You walk, when you want to pluck orange, you cannot, and you don't have a long stick to get to the top. By long stick, I'll use metaphor as connections and networking to get to the president directly to lay your grievances. If you don't have a long stick to get to the top, what do? You use your short stick or your short hook. Let me even say that there's one very juicy orange at the top, and that's the one that you want by force. And you are very determined. What do? You grab the branch that is accessible to you, right? The lower branch. You hold on to it, you pull it down to grab the next branch, you pull it down, you keep pulling until you hit the thing that you want to hit on the top. You cannot fly to the top. Except, again, you have the instrument or the tools to enable you fly to the top. That's how it works, literally. Nothing comes easily, and nothing comes magically. We think too much of these things, and sometimes we think too little. We don't even think at all. We just follow like sheepless sheeps. We just sheepless whatever. We just follow. You see something online and you become so erratic. You forget your reasoning. You become so emotional. You feel with so much sentiment. And I get it. It's sad. It is because you're tired. Well, you should be tired enough to redirect that tiredness and that passion towards like the right channel. For the past hour, I'm sure some of us here, we live in Ikeja, Evans. For over 40 minutes, your vice chairman, soon to be local government chairman, has been here, and nobody even knew that their local government chairman was here on this thing. I intentionally invited a couple of people, and I said, just stay. Let me see if my people would recognize their people. But nobody did. Nobody did. That's the problem. You had the opportunity in this class to lay your grievances, but because you don't even do what you're supposed to do, you don't even know where do you start from. So you see that the problem is also me and you. Literally, they were here in this class for a good 38 minutes, and nobody knew. Because if you know, your leaders, you would recognize the name.
Why are you stressing this student?
No,
Let me finish. Why are you stressing this student? The only thing they can Google is what's going on between Yuleduce and his wife. Or what is happening.
But that's why we have this class.
That's it. Listen, that's all. My point is this. As long as you continue looking up to Instablog for your information, you will have an Instablog country. It's that simple. If you continue, a lot of you admire things that go on in America, Sweden, Netherlands, the UK. You even admire the UK so much, you call Nigeria a parliamentary. Now, the truth is, you don't even know what's going on in your country. Now, how would you even understand that your leaders are here? How would you even understand? You say you want people, like, I'll give you an example. You say the entire APC is bad. There are a lot, and I can argue that statement. There are a lot of people in the APC trying to institute change at different levels. No party is bad. So just look at it this way. You don't even know enough, and this is even to the end governors. I remember the Electoral College was approached like other CSOs to join the end bad governance protest. And I saw the terms, and I was like, I will not sign this. Other CSOs did. I won't mention names. They did, but I refused. Because if we are a political literacy institution, I cannot see how backstrap the Senate. I can have the conversation over a bicameral legislature and its advantages and disadvantages, but I won't say scrap the Senate. And this is not because I don't know people are suffering, but the method in which you are trying to provide a government to be accountable doesn't make sense. I wrote something about protests, and it's focused on the fact that because we do not have leaders in a protest, it does not make sense. So now let's look at it broadly. You say you want to stop bad governance. You're there destroying things, and you don't have someone negotiating with government. You say you have no leader. Every protest that has worked has two fronts. As much as you admire Kenya, they had two fronts. It wasn't just people destroying on the street. There were people talking with the government. And we haven't gotten to that. Now, this is surprising when I have to read within the charts and see somebody say, how do you even start? You did the local government yesterday and you're asking us, how do you start? You've done executive, you've done... These are the questions. How much do you really commit or listen to in this class? How much are you ready to understand what we've taught you? How much are you ready? We drop PowerPoint. Do you even read them? You don't. It's only when lecturer brings it up, you now start wondering what's going on. Therein lies the problem. If your commitment to Nigeria is 1%, you have 0.02% governance.
Exactly.
If you can move your commitment of Nigeria to, let's say, 40%, and I'll give an example in this class. People ascribe most CSOs to be activists. The Electoral College does not stand, and I do not even tolerate activists, because most activists in Nigeria, I wouldn't even say all, but they don't understand what they're supposed to be arguing. Now, if I as an activist is being approached by government that we need something good to be done, you say, no, Tinubu is president, I can't work with him. Or this person is governor in Cross River, I will never work with him. But you're now denying Nigeria a chance for your brain to institute change. What have you written as a recommendation to your local government chairman? It should be done like this. Have you written a recommendation to your country and said it should be done like this? I know of someone who wrote a presidential recommendation and it was followed to the T, and today we have local government autonomy. This guy solved the entire problems with local government autonomy. Things that Nigeria has quarreled since 1999. He solved it. And this is not an APC guy. But this is someone who loves his country and puts his country first. So regardless of how he looked at things, he knew that the country had to come first. Now, how many of us put Nigeria first? Nigerians are selfish. We put ourselves first. I've always said we're looking at a buffet of corruption. So everybody just wants, the day where I go get governor, man, I go loot him, in short, or whatever. Anyway, Shay, you have the floor. You're handling it right. I'm just adding my own concepts to the back end while you're discussing. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, Udo, you asked a question. You said, how do you even start? In my local government, once you say a word or ask for people, roads, the supporters in the party, find you out, abuse the hell out of you, and repeatedly. There's a word that I taught my daughter today. Our word for today in my house is perseverance. You keep on trying until you get it right. And again, there's this popular saying that you're not the first to like when you're going through a problem, someone has probably gone through it, is going through it, has passed through it. So, for example, if what you're going to complain about is bad roads, for example, or, healthcare or security or something, chances are, in fact, not chances, 100% chances are you're not the only one feeling it. Again, we've done it so wrong a lot of times. Like, that's why I said you cannot fight the government. Don't go and do this thing by yourself, because as a one man, you'd easily be talked down. But you see what they cannot break down, like the analogy we just made about the people that were trying to build the tower. You go to your neighbor that, neighbor, don't you see this thing? We've not had light for weeks, for months. Aren't you tired? Your neighbor will say, my brother, now so we see I'm tired, but what do you go do? You be like, there's something we can do. If you go, meet our local government chairman, the two of you go to your next neighbor, 3 becomes 4, 4 becomes 5, 5 becomes 10, 10 becomes 50, 50 becomes 100. Please, how would the few supporters talk 100 people down? Life is just logical. It's just sitting down and thinking briefly. I always say to people, it's really not that hard. It's really not that hard. Things like that, you do not fight it alone. You find like-minded men, citizens in your constituency, you gather them, and you do not just go and push the agenda once, and because you were talked down, that's it. No, you keep at it. For you to, do you know what wins a war? Or what, I would not even say war, because what wins a war is more people, actually, which, you know, goes in our analogy. But beyond more people is the spirit of perseverance. It is not the fastest horse that necessarily wins a polo match, because the polo match is not about race. It is the horse with the most perseverant spirit. You keep going, you keep going. Eventually, they'll be tired. Last, you even call now one of their supporters and said, Baba, even if you dey chop government money, your cousin dey chop, this person, you never tire. Don't, like, you get them reasoning too. Someone said that, you know, we're plagued with illiteracy issues. So since you are not an illiterate, explain to the ones that are illiterate that this and this is this, that these peanuts that you're actually collecting. Do you know that if we get it right, you're supposed to be collecting this and that? It's the small wins that amount to bigger wins, is what I'm saying. How does the judiciary help the citizens in asking for their rights? How can the judiciary help you in asking for your right? Again, I have said this time and again, judiciary is a structure. It is a tool to serve you. If you do not use your tool, how will it work? The judiciary will not come and help you to seek for your rights. You are, as an individual, as a human being, it is your sole responsibility. In fact, it is your purpose to know your rights and fight for it, and then take it to the judiciary that, this is what is happening, and please, that's how it works. The judiciary cannot, again, accountability. The judiciary will not tell you that this is what you're supposed to do, or your right has been broken. No, you are supposed to know your right. Love yourself enough to know what you deserve. It's not every time relationship talk that what does a girl bring to the table, or what does the boy bring to you? What are you bringing to the table to Nigeria? What you are bringing to the table could simply be studying constitution, knowing your right, and knowing what you deserve and what you don't deserve. And like that, you've solved one little problem, even if it's that you've removed yourself from the bandwagons that knows less. That's something good too. But we must be so hungry that we're first willing to change from the inside before we can change the outside. Like, we need to, as people, be so hungry enough to sit down and recognize that, in order to fix this problem, I first have to fix myself. I need to know better. For those that don't know better, and it's okay not to know better, but it is not okay to realize that you don't know better and not want to know better, but still complain about the situation. No, you can't do that. It is wrong. Again, the judiciary, nobody is coming to save you. Nobody's coming to save us. Nobody's coming to help us. The president is not coming to help you or save you. Your legislator is not coming to save you or help you. Your executive is not coming to save you. The judiciary will not come and help you to save you. It is your primary responsibility to want to be saved. You carry the instrument that you need to be used to be saved first before anybody. Even in the Bible, in the Quran, with traditional worshippers, heaven helps those who help themselves first. Will Amadioha or Shango or our blessed Father in heaven come and say, let me just lift you up and carry you, without first calling and say, my Father in heaven, or dear Amadioha, are you going to turn a blind eye? No, you have to actually invite your helper to help you before they will help you. That's how it works. And it's as simple and as practical as that with governance. Please.
Shay, I would like them to unmute someone. He made a statement, and I would like to deal with it.
Is it Sami
no, Abdulaziz Lawal, Ari Sekola Lawal. He said maybe my expectations of this class is too high. So I want to hear what the person has to say. You know, most of the time we make conversations. You haven't done anything, or you've done something, but not at the level of the people that are talking. And then you make flagrant conversations. So I'd like to deal with it. I would like him to explain why he thinks maybe his expectations of this class are too high. Please unmute him.
I've unmuted him. Mr. Abdulaziz Lawal, please.
I would like to deal with it. I would like to hear him and then deal with the matter. Yes, Shadow.
Okay. So I'm having bad network. I want to really appreciate our facilitators and everyone. And I say a very big thanks to you. But again, like, what I didn't get clearly is that, though my expectation of the class maybe one way or the other, Because like for me as an individual now, I personally have like 4 cases in court that lawyer will keep on telling you, and even they will keep on telling you that they have to, the court workers are like demigod, or I don't know the proper way to use. And
the
we
what the
can
court
see
lawyer,
what
sorry, again. Who did you say demigods?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, who did you say are demigods, please? Who
Yeah,
or who acts as a
the
demigod?
court workers, the
Oh,
court
okay, the court
workers,
workers.
of the clerk, as in the whole, you know, it is as if this thing are deliberate attacks on citizen.
So
And
who is
just
the,
like what
one question, who is the court, the clerk? Who is the clerk? Is the clerk not a citizen? Is that citizen then not a part of the problem that you're complaining about?
now what I understand a system, let me just bring it to you. Like what I understand of a system to be is to, as in, block whatsoever can that, you know, all these people that, and this is why we are saying that it is
Wait,
the system.
Let him finish.
No, do you know why? Say there's something I want him to bring out.
No, let him finish.
If
He needs to express himself before we can then address the issue.
no, there's something I want him to add to his expression. And what I want him to add to his expression is, if you can, please tell us the particular case problem. If you can, tell us one of the case problems.
Yeah, so that
it gives concept to what we understand what you are saying. So don't just say the clerk. Yeah. Don't talk vaguely.
Okay, yeah. So please go ahead.
Okay. All right. So there is a particular case that I filed to the court. There is another one of the community.
As an individual or as a lawyer, by the way?
Pardon?
As an individual or as a lawyer? You said you filed a case.
No. I filed it through a lawyer, not as an individual. I filed it through a lawyer.
And as an individual through a lawyer, yes. Keep going then.
Yeah. So, and they keep on giving adjournments upon adjournments, and sometimes the judge will not see it like that. Things are just coming up, and you know, in fact, sometimes they will even say, okay, judge is coming, and at the end of the day will not even appear at all in the court. And these are the things that, as a judge, before you get to that particular position, these are the kind of a law. There should be like, okay, if I'm working under you, for instance, now in a private entity, in a private organization, and I meet some certain, I'm sure if you're not giving me query, you are going to give me, as in, you know, and these are the things that I feel like, okay, this system is a kind of a system that is not really, it's not about those even individual in that position. It's not, I don't consider it to be the issue about the judge, about these people, but the, as in, maybe the law, the constitution, all these things that gives room for their, as in, for their excessive.
Okay, so if I get you wrong, hold on, let me address one thing at a time so I don't forget your train of thought. So you made a statement now that the law or the constitution gives room for this kind of stuff. I have one question to ask you. Have you read your constitution? Have you read your constitution? Do you know, have you read? It's not that much.
Yes, I do read, especially when I have some certain
so
things
you can tell me for a fact that there's somewhere where your constitution allows these individuals to behave this way. Or that the rules or laws that allow them to behave this way. Like I said, you know, there's something I said at the beginning of this class. We must be very careful to put away sentiments and emotions and address things logically and reasonably, because that's the only way you win things. Like, you cannot go to a war with emotions or sentiments. It's not going to work. You go and ask the people of Troy how that went. You cannot. So you've made a statement now. Let's say you, as an individual, Mr. Lawal, this is your grand opportunity to make a difference for your people. Do you understand? You've been given space, you've been given podium. Do you understand? You know, you've just made a statement that the constitution and the law allows for this to happen. And I'm asking you, where specifically in this constitution does this allow for this to happen? And what law allows for this?
I think Mr. Lawal has exited. But so what I even want, you see where the problem is.
Emotions that we forget the
you say the constitution, allows it. And this
How
is the
can you say
question.
that the Constitution
Where
allows
is the Constitution? Where? If nobody's arguing with you, where is the Constitution? Then you now go ahead and say maybe your expectations of this class are high. I don't even understand what that means.
No. See, I think we're even veering off the most. Let's even forget all of that. Yeah. Again. It goes back to what I said earlier. Accountability. I'm sure that this class is going on. We are seeing more and more how the lack of accountability, the lack of it, and the inability of us to hold ourselves to that regard as well. And how, like, that's our major problem. How can you say that the law or the rule allows for it? It means that before you even went, it means that you went to war unprepared. Literally, you're asking a question unprepared. How do you fight what you do not know and expect to win? You know, the clerk is is not doing what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to serve you in a certain way. They're not doing what they're supposed to do. Let's say the judge is illegally, not allowing you appropriate access to justice. And let's say all of these, delays are deliberate on their part. There's something called judicial review. But when you do not know, how do you use what you do not know? A lot of people who know these things, they actually use it and it actually works for them. It is the fear of, oh, Nigeria is so bad, nothing works. At least you try it first. You try it first. In the Constitution, there are actually, steps that you can go through when you have situations like that. But how many of us use these things? No. And we complain that this, that. I don't understand it. Illiteracy is a terrible thing, and we need to fight. And don't get me wrong, I do not know everything too. Like every day, there's a need for us to learn and unlearn a lot of things. So when I say illiteracy is bad, I'm not removing myself from that box. We need, above anything, to want to learn every day. You can hold your judicial officers accountable. A clerk has no place and has no reason to treat you in any manner of less than you're supposed to be treated within their official or professional manner. No. And the clerk is not a government official. It's another citizen. That is Nigeria happening to Nigeria yet again. But again, you make it into an institutional problem, into a governance problem. That's not a governance problem. That's a citizenship problem. That's another person like me and you making another Nigerian's life difficult. But then because we lose traction, because of so much sentiment and emotions, we forget how to address the issue that we now make it a government problem. A clerk is just another regular person that has a job. What does that have to do with people in governance, for crying out sake? You need to, thank you, Oluwaseun. You need to learn, unlearn, and relearn continuously without end, literally. What is, like, a clerk treated you that way? I get it. But again, it goes back to what I've been saying since the beginning of this class. Above anything, we need to first learn to fix ourselves. We have, it's a terrible habit. You've had that experience. And then you'll be part of the people now that will go on social media or, to shout bad governance. Tinubu, get out of the office because a clerk treated me that way. That clerk is another citizen. That clerk too, don't get me, that clerk too will go on Instagram or Twitter or X or whatever to be shouting bad governance, forgetting that they've met the expectations of another Nigerian. We don't like taking responsibility. And that's what we need to first. We need to fix first before anything. Responsibility and accountability as Nigerians. We need to work on that, please. Please, if there's any more questions, I'm here to answer any question you have. But please, let's try to be less sentimental about these things. It's not going to get us anywhere, really. And again and again and again, please, let's stop waiting for people to save us. We should, we've been waiting and it has not worked, right? Maybe we should try a different approach. Udwa, if your hands are raised because you have a question, please unmute. Kindly unmute, please.
Good evening, Ma. Good evening,
Good
sir.
evening, Udwa. Nice to hear your voice, Udwa.
I have raised my hand since you asked us about the local government chairman thing. I voted for my local government chairman. I know his name, I know my councillor. I literally hound my local government chairman every single time on roads. I am known, my name is known in the local government council, such that I cannot go there to do anything. Should any of the party people or workers there know that I am the person that hounds them, I'm in trouble.
Attack you, yes. I know.
I go to this class, then how I can use what I can use judiciary, how I can use it as a citizen who wants good governance to get what I should get from my local government. I learned a whole lot yesterday. In fact, I didn't even know local government has such responsibilities yesterday until yesterday's class. The least I have seen yesterday to wonder at how I can even, with what I have learned yesterday, what I can do to expose my council and make them sit up to what they should do. But all I have heard today is how I'm a bad
What area do you stay, please?
I haven't learned anything today.
What area do you stay, please, Udwa?
I live in Amuwo Odofin local government area, Lagos State.
Okay.
So you made mention of something which is beautiful as well, that you always engage these people, but do you engage them single-handedly or as an individual? Because I did state at the beginning of the class that you need to be, first, you are a woman, you may have family and all of that, so you need to love your life as well, which is very important. You don't want to be a target for these people. So one very important question, do you go as an individual and alone? By the way, brave of you, very good. And it's a very mighty feat. I think that if you're even known, you should even consider running as well. But like I said in the beginning, you cannot fight the government alone. It is a very, not that you can even not do it alone, but it's a very dangerous feat. And I would never, ever advise anybody to do that. You made mention of something, you are a known face, you are a known name. And I'm very sure that since you are very passionate about what you go to your local government chairman for, since you've been going there repeatedly, obviously it is for the good of your community in Amuwo Odofin. So why don't you get like-minded people like you within your community and then push? Why do it alone? Have you tried that approach, Udwa?
Shay, I'd like to add something here.
No, let her finish first, Kunle.
We do an association, residents association. So it's not just me, it's all of us. We've actually protested in the past. We have done that. We have pushed as a group, but it has yielded nothing.
So
nothing.
Like how many of you, by the way?
We're plenty. We're over 50 to 100.
And you push consistently every time and nothing.
It's a known fact that our chairman does nothing in the local government. We are in the news all the time in Lagos State.
Could I help with this, please? It is necessary I talk at this point.
So,
so the key thing here, Uduak, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
So great thing you are doing, but you see, there's always this conversation. For you to engage the system, you need to understand the system to be able to engage it effectively. You know that, right?
Yes, I know.
If you have a conversation and you're doing this kind of talk, these two people coming together, they already expect that. It won't change anything. Are you aware that local governments do not have immunity? Are you aware of that?
No, I'm not.
Beautiful. So like I said, information on this particular target you're trying to approach, what is most necessary is you knowing exactly how to engage. Now, are you also aware that Amuwo Odofin receives 1.2 billion averagely a month in FAC allocations alone, minus IGR?
Yes, we are aware. We have discussed that as well on the group.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so since they have no immunity, let's lead you to where the judiciary comes in. have you instituted an open case by that association, umbrella association, so it's not somebody's name? You don't need to sue them in Lagos, because if you sue them in Lagos, it can be like the state assembly and the courts are together. You can carry this case to Abuja, counter-sue the federal government, counter-sue the EFCC, counter-sue the NFIU, and counter-sue the ICPC. And trust me, I assure to you that if that happens, your chairman will be in jail in 1 year. That is a guarantee. So it's not that you haven't, and I love what you're doing, and it shows the trajectory to success and outcomes. So it's not like what you're doing is not right, but you're following the wrong process. You understand what I'm saying, Uduak? They do not have immunity. You can confer with the Constitution. The only people with immunity are the president, the vice president, the governor, and the deputy executive governor. Those are the only people with immunity. At local government level, they do not have immunity. Forget the honorable, they call them. Forget whatever. So to answer your question, yes, you have instituted, you've tried to institute change. But trying to institute change, you must know which way is right and effective or not. That is where real change happens. Do you understand what I'm saying, Uduak?
Yeah, because all that we have done is we keep writing letters to him, writing letters, telling him to go and meet him.
That's what I said at the very beginning of the class, that you can take your local government chairman to court. That's why I said grassroots politics is extremely important. If you were listening at the very beginning, that's why I started with local government chairman, because I know that almost all my class, every class, it's always, how can the judiciary help to take this person? No, the judiciary will not help you until you bring something to it. And that is why I started with the local government chairman, because they are the most, despite still being powerful, they are the most accessible, and unfortunately, they are also the low-hanging fruit, and they are the most unprotected as well, out of like the whole governance hierarchy. And that's why I said from the very beginning, you need to know who you're dealing with. Work in numbers. Even with the law case, you cannot go as an individual. No, you go as a class of people in your numbers. Okay, that's how we literally started this class. The need to know that this is what is available to you. You persevere, and you actually, that's why I said forget your president. You cannot carry, even if you want to carry your president to court, his tenure would end by the time the court case is even read for the first hearing. And let's not forget the immunity thing. That's why we started this class with local government, because by the time you start squeezing them out, your House of Assemblies, before you go like, forget your president, leave him as, not that I'm saying he's not important, but put that one aside first. The judiciary, the courts would only help you as much as you are willing to help yourself. If you don't know, you don't know. And that's it. And that's why I started the class with, do you actually realize that you can actually carry, only Bongo local government, do you know that they carried their local government, their local local government chairman to court? They literally even impeached the guy. It's just that politics and all, the people left it, and the guy just continued what he was doing. It's been done. There's precedent. Ikeja did it. And just like Amu Odofin, they had a very terrible case of having a chairman that did not want to listen to their plight and was not doing anything about it. How would I put this? Our political leaders are very much used to show. They're used to us being angry and us displaying, us marching and saying enough is enough. And quite frankly, they know that after like a week or two, we'll get tired, and that's where it ends. Because they are used to it, they kind of like outplay us with time, if you get what I mean, because they know that we do not know better. The court will not help you if you don't take stuff to it. Good work. You've done something. In fact, citizenship participation, after this, you can even take it a step further by actually running for office. Do you know there's nothing stopping you? After doing this and submitting your case to court, by God's grace, you take it up and you actually get a win. That's a more of thing. That's one region that has been lifted off from bad governance. And hopefully you get to the position, you do better. Isn't that a win? Isn't that a win? It's a big win. Again, nobody is coming to help us, so we just have to help ourselves. That's it. And I will say it. I always say it because even me, I'm guilty of the same thing. We're all emotional beings. Us as Africans, we even the things that we buy with our eyes. When we see a food, we don't necessarily know that it tastes good. We just see that it looks good, and then we buy. We work with emotions. Emotions is not going to get us anywhere far with our governance situation. So, Udwa, not to say that you're not on the right track, you're very much on the right track. You've done a lot more than most people on this platform has done. We're just saying that when one approach isn't working as much as we want it to work, it is because you probably need to, look another way. And luckily for you, you've learned that the local government chairman, they don't have immunity. And that's basically what I started my class with. You can actually take these people to court. You can. Any other question? Or Udwa, do you have any more? Do you have anything else? Before I move on to the next person, please. We're running out of time. Okay, you said you're satisfied. Thank you. And well done, by the way. Good job.
There are more hands up. We have Sam Sedin, we have Rekia.
Rekia, please can you unmute? I'm very interested in what you have to say.
Oh. Rekia, I've asked you to unmute. Hassan Rekia.
Hello, good evening. My name is Hassan Rekia. I'm from Ikeja local government. I really enjoyed your class. I just hope that people would take the lessons they're learning now and apply it in practicality. Udrak has done very well. You're very right. She's done better than most people have done. Most people sit down, we sit on our WhatsApp, on our devices, and we complain. Udrak has taken the fight to them. And I'd also like to encourage them that it's more than just writing letters. Sometimes, if you have numbers, I'm glad Udrak is part of the CD. You can go and confront these people at the local government. Not violently. You can go for a visitation. It's within your rights to go as a large group. And you also need to publicize those visitations. Politicians do not like when there is focus on them. If you continue your efforts, publicize, use any medium you have to publicize, okay, we're going to local government chairman, we're going to request for XYZ, and you keep going. Like the pastor said, they know we can be emotional with our requests, but if you show them that you're being factual, you're not using your emotions, but you're being factual, this is what you want, and if you don't get it, you are not leaving. They buckle very easily to pressure. So you go physically, don't write, you've written enough letters, don't write them any letters. It is your right as a citizen. You don't need to book an appointment. You walk into that local government as your boss. We want to see the chairman. And you continue to give him that pressure. And each time you go there, post it on Facebook, post it on X, on Instagram, send it to blogs that this is what we're demanding. But you also have to stick with the issues. It's emotions that don't allow citizens to get what they want. Because when they start getting emotional, they move off topic, they get distracted. And that's what finishes whatever cause people are on. So I just wanted to comment, tell Udrak well done. I'm really proud of what she's doing. And I hope more people follow in her steps. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rekia. Rekia, I'm sorry, I know you don't like to be put on the spot, but I would have to in this. How many of you would, I'm sure there are a lot of people living in the Ikeja region. That's actually your vice local government chairman who just spoke. But again, because most of us don't even know the people that are representing us, representing us, we don't even know how or who to direct our issues to. That's the vice chairman for Nibongo local government in Ikeja. Yes. So she was one of the people I was talking about when I said, we have some people here that you could actually quickly corner. And, but most of us don't even know. We don't know that. So please, let's start by equipping ourselves with knowledge. We need to know first to be able to fight these things. Stella, please. Uchechi. After Stella would have Salah. I think
Okay,
Stella
Uchechi
has a question.
Stella. Yeah, can you unmute yourself and speak?
Okay, good evening.
Hi, good evening, Stella. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Fine, thank you very much. Please, there are a lot of things I don't know in politics and governance, and
Me too, by the way.
I wanted to ask a question. I'm from Owerri North local government in Imo State. So I was at home in June, and I was asking a cousin of mine, a younger cousin who happens to be in the State House of Assembly now. So I'm asking him, so if an individual, because there's this road in front of, our kindred, the road is, when it rains, oh boy, it's like River Niger. So I'm asking him, so what are people doing now? Oh, but you're in government. What's going on? He went on and on and on. In fact, I can't even remember half of what he told me. And so I asked him a question. So if an individual, and I'm asking now, if an individual can afford to do those things, can an individual do it, or is it a problem? Because I know sometimes in some communities, when you want to do something that is supposed to be what government is supposed to do, you are frustrated. And then I really don't get the rationale behind that. So how can someone go about such a thing? Please.
So I don't know how it works in Anambra, but I know in Lagos, if you want to say you want to fix their road, then you're not a government official, I think they are called Awamonile or something. They will literally frustrate your life. Literally, that's what they do. So I'm not in the best position to advise when it comes to Anambra, but you did say that you have a contact that you always go to. So if with the case of bad road, again, bad road within an area is under the responsibility of a local government chairman, which I always say is even beautiful. The approach that I have used as an individual and that has worked for me, different region. I'm from Kogi State. I know. Anybody from Kogi would tell you that we've been plagued by bad leadership from inception. I don't remember a good governor that we've had. Bad, very terrible leadership, I know. So what I did in my community, why we are talking about road, we don't have network, MTN, Glo, and I'm not talking back in the day, I'm talking like sadly like 4 or 5 years ago situation. Not imagine just 4 or 5 years ago, a community would not have network at all. In my community, we don't have network at all. Do you understand? Even when MTN and Glo came, it only worked for about 2-3 weeks and there was nothing. There's no network. And because there's no network, what our local government chairman does is that he goes and comes in Kaba, sometimes Lokoja. So as an enlightened individual, I was tired of, going to like the local government chairman to say, let's fix this. And it was more tiring because I have my close associations with them. So it was a situation of, tell your daughter or tell your cousin or tell your relative to stop bugging. So what I did was I gathered people in my community. I did not even bother with my parents or like the aged people because they don't know what it means to have network. So it's a fight that they don't necessarily understand. But you see the youth that have traveled and, they want to own a phone. They want to be able to call. They've gone to school. They want to be able to call their people and everything. I gathered all of them. We literally sat down. As simple as that. And by gathering, it was just, I remember that day, we're not even up to 50 under that tree that day. And we all just spoke generally. And I said how it would be beautiful if, we're able to communicate beyond always meeting like this. We need network service, we need this, we need that. And before I knew it, you see those, and they were all guys, by the way. We're not up to 50. I doubt we're up to 40. That very day, in the evening, the amount of youths that came to my house that day to say that, we know that, you'll soon be going back to Lagos. So there's a need for us to address this quickly. There were a lot that came to my house that night. So I said, okay, you know what? Tomorrow, so time, let's meet. And I'm telling you that almost everybody came out. And when they came out, we went to the local government chairman's place. Unfortunately, he was not around, but you know who was around? His wife was around, his mom was around, and everybody else was around. And we basically confronted those people. We went again, we confronted them. The fourth time we went, unfortunately, the wife was, attacked. And when I mean attacked, not physically, but, she was abused, she was threatened, and she was told that, at the end of the day, her husband is supposed to be here because this is the constituency he's supposed to man. Do you understand? The place is going to, the reason why they have network there is because there are people probably fought for it. So they insisted that except they wanted to move out of the community in total and hands off power to somebody else, she should tell her husband to come. And in 4 days, the man came. I'm telling you that when you bring things very close to home, it's amazing how things work. We didn't even go to court because thankfully our own local governor was not that stubborn. Do you get? In less than 2 weeks, we had MTN and Glomas installed in our village. This was 4 years ago. In some situations like Udwa's place, unfortunately, she would have to take it a step further by going to court. And last not to even say that she would not, courts has their own problem. That's not to say that it will even be resolved immediately. It will take another year or two. But the point is that something is being done. So, like I always preach, there is power in numbers. If you go and want to do something yourself, you would suffer from it. And let's be conscious of the fact that we have a security problem. You don't want to take up a project on your hand and some illiterates or people who don't know better, we think that, this one has too much time or money on her hands. That's why let's go and harm her, or let's go and do something to her. So that's why I said that when you want to do something, you need to sit down, think about it wholly. Consider yourself because you are important too. Consider your family because your family is important too. You don't, except you have ampute protection, especially in Anambra, I'll not advise you to do that because there are hungry people who unfortunately don't know better and they will just see you as part of the problem. Nigeria is in such a bad state now that even the average people that are, fighting for their rights and wanting to do better, the poor people or the people who have second to nothing see us as the problem too, as a threat. Do you understand? So they don't just take their grievances to just the politicians, they take it to us too. So you pull something like that, you risk getting kidnapped, you risk getting robbed, things like that. So unfortunately, I would advise you to follow it to the books. It's very good, it's sweet and it's kind that you're willing to do that for your community, but I would not advise you do it alone, please. There are others. You have to consider things holistically. In summary, a lot of people have done it and a lot of people have paid with their blood for it. I'm a mom of two. I'm not going to do that. I want to train my children because the government is not going to train them for me. Even if the government says they will train them for me, next 4 years, another government will come and forget my heroic act. So, that's important to consider too, please.
Thank you, Ma. Samsudin, it's your turn to unmute and ask your question.
Good evening, everyone.
I'm so sorry. Before you start, I want to say something important. If your local government chairman or your people are refusing to call town hall for you, my brother and my sister, call town hall for yourself. Don't wait on them to call town hall. A lot of that happens a lot. Do you understand? Because they know that that's a step towards actual change. They will not allow for it. So please, by all means, call it as an individual. It is your right. You have the right to do that as the fourth arm of government. It is a way to keep these people accountable. No one can keep your local government accountable, not the court. It is you first. So please, town hall, I've been hearing that a lot, and I understand that it is a big problem. Call it yourself. Before you call it, discuss with your estate people and your people, do you understand? And be sure that whatever you want to do aligns with everybody's goal. And call it yourself. You don't need them for that. Again, let's not forget that these people are 0.5% of the population. Please don't give them that much power. They don't have that much power over you. It's us that you don't. These people, all the power. Do you know that money is as valuable as you let it be? So are our politicians. In summary, that's just it. Please go ahead with your question. Sorry for the diversion.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I do not have any question. I realized my hand has been off since the time you wanted us to impute about the word good governance. So
Right.
I just decided to speak and be appreciative of the college for what they are doing for us and the country at large. And a rejoinder to that guy that said the special expectation is that nice bill. Thank you.
Thank you. There are a couple of questions in the chat box.
Let
me take the ones that I can find now. There's a question from sorry.
So Jackson, you were the one I answered previously, by the way. To start a town hall group is basically how you start anything. So because of accountability and all, and again, safety is always very important. That's why I always say in our situation, you need to move with numbers. You basically would have to get like-minded people like yourself. When it comes to pressure group, most times those are like small associations that sometimes have to be registered. I would not preach what I'm not 100%, grounded in. I honestly do not know exactly how that works, but I do know that the hall meetings that I've held, I did not necessarily go to my chairman to say that I was going to hold a meeting. In fact, there was nothing like hall meeting except when the local government calls it, and it's usually for election. Do you understand? They only always did that during when they want to do election or stuff. So we started moving things like that ourselves. So yeah, I don't think there's any formality to it. And if there is, Rekia, please, if there is, can you unmute and advise accordingly? I'm not sure that there is, but as an individual, I've always just gone ahead.
Absolutely not. There's no formality to it.
Exactly.
One of the first steps you can actually take, because every local government has its community development association. The easiest way to forming a town hall outside of the local government is getting involved with your residents association, the community development association. Every local government has one, be it active or inactive. So what you can do is you can use the platform of your CDA to reach out to persons of your community that are in like minds and that have the same focus and are not in any way attached to any politician or any political office. You can start meeting from those platforms. You don't have to necessarily call it a town hall, but you can start. There's nothing in the law that stops you from gathering or associating and having those meetings, especially when it comes to the improvement of your community. So you can start that way in your ward, gather people of like minds. It's all about networking. And fortunately, your ward is like the smallest cell of society. So you all know each other. You know everybody in the next street, on the next street, and the other street. You have the same issues. You're facing the same problems. You have the same goals in mind. So just start using your community development association. That's a tool, because in theory, your CDA is supposed to be carrying information back to the local governments. Most people do not relate to their CDAs. So that's like the first step before you go and hang them. Are you getting that information across to them? Udrak is part of her CD, so she's getting that information across to them. Gather together. It doesn't even have to be a physical meeting. You can gather the ones of yourself that you are very strong-minded, you're tenacious, and you want to achieve that goal. You can gather yourselves. You can have a WhatsApp group.
And
There's
you will be
nothing
ready
illegal.
to play the game of time. That's what these politicians do better than us. So they will say, give them a few, they will get tired, and truly we get tired. So that's one thing. Perseverance, such a beautiful trait.
If you're playing long run, yes, tenacity. That's one of the things I said. People that are tenacious as you are, because if you have a group and there are people that are not as patient, you're only as strong as your weakest link. You have people discouraging other people easily. But if you're tenacious, and you're ready to continue, I mean, it's your life. Whether you like it or not, it's your life. It's about your quality of your living. It's your existence that's being threatened. Stick to it. Do all you're supposed to do from the community level. Okay, we're not seeing where our allocations are coming to. We don't see the allocations working in the community. What exactly are they doing? You can write letters, like I said in the chat, you can write letters to the pertinent agencies, you can write to EFCC, you can write to ITPC, you can call DSS. You have the right, you're a citizen. You can write petitions to anybody. We don't know what's going on. We demand that accountability. You can do that at any level, but just get yourselves grouped. You don't need to wait for the local government.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Rekia. So obviously, she's a part of the local government Buhala. So whatever she says must really, hold ground. So as I've said before, there's no formality to it, and you don't have to wait for anybody really. You just get up, get like-minded people like you and move. But please, I would, in all of my classes, even me, I don't do these things without numbers because, like I said, my life is just as important. So numbers, the only thing, so the three things that will get us to where we need to be in Nigeria, we need to first know. Then when we know, we gather like-minded people like us in numbers, and we need to be prepared to wait. Like, be patient. Perseverance is a big thing because they already expect us to do that. How many times have we, protested, and what did we get out of it? Basically nothing. And again, like I said, responsibility, we need to start to hold ourselves accountable to. I think that's even the first line of action. So if you don't know what the problem, how is, or where it is coming from really, how do you solve it? I don't know if there's any
Thank you, ma'am. There's a
question.
question from Olajimi Adesanya. He's asking, how can the federal government be forced into returning the security forces back to the judiciary and not Ministry of Interior?
Olajimi,
how can the federal government be coerced into returning the security forces back to the judiciary and not the Ministry of Interior?
What does it mean the security forces back to the judiciary? Is it trying to say, because the executive arm of government, they are the ones who enforce laws and who are literally, so when it says back to the judiciary, what does that mean? Please, can you provide more clarity to that if you're here?
Folajimi, if you are here, can you raise up your hand so that I'll mute you?
Or if you're in a noisy environment, you can also, put it in the chat box.
Okay, you can as well drop it on the chat box.
Because the judiciary does not own or control,
There's a second question here from Obi Godwin. He said, as an individual trained by Electoral College Nigeria, how can I organize a quick response to a flagrant misappropriation of resources by the leaders in our local government?
That's all we've been talking about all day now, sir. That's usually, that would be me going back. But that's what we've been saying all day, literally. Get like-minded people. Don't do the fight alone. etc, etc. Mr. Folajimi, I think his hands are raised now. So if we can provide clarity to his question.
Come back to the chat box.
Yeah.
I've unmute Folajimi to speak. If you can hear me, unmute yourself and ask your question or clarify your thoughts, please. Mr. Desanya, I've asked you to unmute, please. Are you here, Folajimi?
Good.
The network is quite bad. We can't hear you.
Everybody, can you hear me?
I can hear you, please.
Yes.
But you're breaking up.
Hello.
Yeah, better now.
Hello, good evening, everybody. Can you hear me now? My network is quite bad. So
evening,
earlier in the class, we're made to know that. Yes, good evening. My name is Folajim. Can I go on?
Yes, please.
Okay. So we're made to know earlier in the class that right now the Ministry of Interior controls about a larger chunk of the security system in Nigeria. and not which is supposed to be Ministry of Justice. So how can that be reverted? How can that power be given back to the Ministry of Justice instead of Ministry of Interior?
So you're basically saying when it comes to security, the security of things in Nigeria, how can that obligation literally shift to the Judiciary or Ministry of Justice? Is that what you're saying? Hello? Because
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, because security concerns was never within the tenacity of the judiciary in the first place. So I'm trying to understand your question.
Absolutely.
Hello? 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 I think your network is bad, but just so we're clear, the judiciary has never been bestowed. In fact, it is not part of their function. It is not in fact, it is unconstitutional for that to be a part of their function, because then there will be a breach in separation of power. Then that goes against the principle of separation of power, which is a big deal. Do you understand? So it was never within their jurisdiction, functions, responsibility, obligations in the first place. They don't go close to that kind of stuff. No, that's not within their. So I think that you may need to clarify from where you got that information from, but that's not right, please. It's never been within their jurisdiction to do that. That's why the principle of separation of power exists, because then when stuff like that is so concentrated on one body of government, you then have abuse of power. So that's not correct, please. Any other question? Hello? Any other question? So I take it that there's none. Before I hands up to the moderator, I would like to remind single one of us, that I do understand that our situation is quite emotional. And sometimes I still argue in groups. Yes, I argue in groups sometimes out of frustration, out of pain and everything. But beyond that, we need to first understand the role that we play as individuals. And we need to unlearn the idea that there are just three arms of government, which is the judiciary, executive, and the legislators. We need to unlearn that and relearn that they're actually four. And the most important arm of government that no one told you about is you and I, the fourth arm of government, the citizens that are supposed to keep those remaining three arms of government accountable. No one is going to do the job for us. We're unfortunately going to have to learn what it takes to do the job and actually then do the job by ourselves. It's the way it's going to work. And thanks to people like Udwar, who are already doing that. Honestly, we need more of her spirit in us, because I honestly believe that that might be the only way as collectives and as Nigerians that we will move forward. And like in every of my class, I would love to also discourage the "May Nigeria not happen to you" mantra. I find it very, when I see it, I just look at it and say, this person must not know any better. Because what you're basically saying, that may you not happen to somebody else. Because again, I would remind us that we are the Nigerians in Nigeria that is happening to Nigeria. You get, we're the ones happening to people. So please, 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 as individuals, as collectives, let's, try to do better. And by do better, I don't even mean just in the governance space. as employees, employers, in whatever you do, even as doctors. Do you understand? You can impact change, you can make change in every jurisdiction of life, in any as lawyers. Are you a lawyer? Are you a clerk? Look at the clerk lady now that just married a Nigerian, that made him to feel like governance is so bad because the clerk treated him so badly, forgetting that was just another citizen. As individuals, we need to do better. Generally, we need to value life more, and we need to learn to hold ourselves accountable as well. Let's not forget that for government to work, we have to work harder. Like I said at the start of the class, when government wants to work, it is us they will give the work to now. When they want to build road, build institutions, all these houses and buildings that are collapsing, do you understand? They contracted the job to one of us. Even if they use the inferior goods because the government did not give them enough money, whistle blow and do everything that you need to do to make sure that you get the job done right. That's another step to allowing for good governance. Do you understand? You get a contract, please do your contract. Don't wait for the government to push. Government does not even know when you do a contract right or wrong. Do you understand? They just award and they move on. But it is your civic responsibility to make sure that you do this for your fellow citizens. So there's a lot to governance that we're not looking at. We're just looking at one sector, which is the presidency. But really, there's a whole lot more to it. A whole lot more. And we have a lot of work to do. Please, let's not forget that. After this class, please, I hope that we educate others, because it's a long haul. I try to educate at least 100 people every month. That's something. 100 people can then go and educate, even if it's 50, 100, 1,000 more people. The work is for us to do. Sadly, again, I do not underestimate the fact that we have bad governance. It's so bad. Like, our governance situation is very bad, though. It's very bad and it's sad. Sometimes I cry, but crying will not fix the problem. Shouting bad governance will not fix it. Protesting will not fix it. What will fix it is actually knowing how to. You first have to identify the problem. Then you research on how to solve the problem, and then you go ahead and say, at least now we know that our local government chairmen are the low-hanging fruit and they don't have immunity. We'll go after them, because they're the ones that we're seeing, right? Then the local government chairman will go after the State House of Assembly. State House of Assembly will go after governor or whoever they need to go after. Governor will go after vice president and president. Then let them sort themselves out like that. But we need to do the work first, is what I'm trying to say. Please, 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 let's not forget that. Thank you. Yes, thank you, Oluwaseun, for your comments. We need to learn to hold ourselves accountable too, sadly. So, yeah, any more questions or?
I cannot see more questions on the chat box. So I think we've exhausted the question.
Quick one. Thank you. Samuel just even reminded me of something I was going to say. This governance issue is not plagued with only Nigeria, because we always say, compare Nigerians to other countries. And I would like to say that this economical crisis too is not just a Nigerian issue. Everywhere around the world. And some of the countries that seem to have gotten it right, they didn't get it right because they have holy politicians, or their politicians are so good and so remarkable and they love their people and they love their citizens. No, they got it right because they were forced to get it right. They were literally forced. The people were holding them accountable. But in China now, I don't think people realize that China used to be one of the most corrupt countries in the world. They were so corrupt, corruption, but now, yeah, the enforcement mechanism is so tight that they realize that if you are so corrupt and if you do the things outside of the things that you've promised to do, you literally pay with your life. The people will call you out, whistleblowing, and then you pay with your life. When you have things like that in place, things would reduce. So we need to work on ourselves first, please. It's not rosy everywhere else. And the places that are rosy is because they've worked, they put in the work. Look at Rwanda. Everyone's shouting, oh, stop calling Nigeria the government of and the giant of Africa. Rwanda is the giant of Africa. Rwanda, they have beautiful roads, beautiful establishment. They're healthcare now is this. In fact, they get delivered medical appliances and tools through drones and all of that, which is true and which is beautiful. But do we remember how Rwanda got there? They paid with their lives, literally, you know, civil war. They paid with their life. They forced that to happen. They worked for it. Nothing comes free. We like magic in Nigeria. Please, no. Thank you, everybody. Hello.
Yeah, thank you so much, Shei Bella, for this engaging conversation. The class was quite charged. Thank you so much, man, for always answering our call and delivering on point. At this point now, I cannot find any question on the chat board apart from some few comments. Let me quickly pass this announcement before I ask you guys to unmute and thank our facilitator for this evening. We have observed that in your attendance, I'm referring to you students now, you don't write your party and associate them with your name, please. From tomorrow, as you join the class, drop your name and your political party as an attachment to your name. Very, very important. Don't flout rules. Thank you so much. So at this point, let me ask you guys to unmute and then thank our facilitator as we bring the class to a close. So you can unmute now and thank
all right. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Madam
Thank
Chair.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma.
Yeah, as usual.
All right.
Thank you.
Gracias.
I think you're still on mute, or Justin, in case you're talking.
Thank you, Madam Shei.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm sure that we are done with today's class. Our lectures continue tomorrow by 5 p.m. So try as much as possible to be on time and to be in class. Thank you and good night, everyone.